women, yeah, we may have the guys approach us, or we may have the option in that sense. Like they say, women hold the key to what? Sex, and men to relationships. So
that is true, but in terms of actual potential options, women have way more than men, especially today, because of the reasons you said.
You think so?
I know so.
I don't know.
I do this all the time.
Okay.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm sitting in this seat, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. I know I always say that, but would I do this if it wasn't going to be a great conversation? So without further ado, please welcome Sammi to the show, or
Hi
Sam.
guys.
Sammi or Sam?
Sammi.
We're going Sammi. We're going Sammi. How you doing this morning?
Good. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. So all
Amen.
blessed.
Amen, man. Amen.
All
So
blessed.
let's start off.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what your name is, what you do.
Yep.
Your age range. We're not going to ask a woman her age. We give her age range, right? And tell us one thing a guy should know about you before asking you out on a date.
Oh, that's a good one. My name's Sammi, as you said. I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to leave it at.
She got it.
Beauty therapist by trade, but also a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
What should a guy know about me?
Yeah. If he wants to ask you out on a date, what should he know about you before asking you?
Just be real. Come to me straight. Correct. I don't need the lines. I don't need the chat. Just be open and honest and real. That's it. Simple.
I hear that. Keep it real, authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Authentic. Don't try and play the game.
Yeah.
Though it is a bit of a game.
Don't say to me, oh, don't I know you from somewhere? No. You do not.
What
I
if
didn't just fall out of heaven. I don't want any of them lines.
What if he thinks you look like a celebrity?
No.
No?
No, that's definitely not
you
what
need more
it is.
confidence in yourself, Sammi.
Definitely not what it is.
You never know. Okay, so I'm going to start by asking you, what do you think is the hardest thing about dating for women today?
Oy, where do I start?
Where do you start? Start anywhere
Where do
you
I
like.
start? I feel like there's a slackness with guys.
Okay, say more.
Like for me, in the sense of, okay, say I've met someone, swap details, done all of that. Say he messages, oh, so, you know, when can I see you? You give the dates now. And he's just more in the sense of, so, what do you want to do then? Or like, he just faffs. They're not very decisive.
Okay.
Like, they don't make the right moves, or they just, faff around a lot. It's like, just make a decision, tell me when and where. Like, you've got my time and availability, but there's just all this dancing around.
Right, so like, you feel like guys don't, not many guys like make a plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally.
Have you ever offered like, oh, why don't we go do this?
But you asked me out.
That's true.
Why should I then make the arrangements? Like,
well, I guess, do you want to see him? Would be my question.
that's the point. Sometimes, I guess the odd time it might be like, okay, so when am I seeing you? But then,
It's a good line.
you know, I think that's probably the response. And if they're really still taking too much time, they're clearly not interested, I guess. Or
Yeah.
he's like, pretty much.
Well, it could be a thing of like, you know, the priority isn't there. So, you know, there's this thing where, you know, when I say there's a difference between a guy wanting you and choosing you. And a guy can want you, but choosing you comes from the actions that he makes, the intentions, etc.
Right.
But I think there's a little bit of a caveat with, I think, you know, while obviously equality is paramount, I think guys are like, they feel that they can take a back seat because women are doing things and achieving things and going after what they want, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think, you know, and the reason I bring this up is because the same maybe woman who is like successful, independent, goes after what she wants. It seems when it comes to men, she's like the most passive person. And it kind of feels like a bit of cognitive dissonance.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know. See, for me, I'm quite traditional in that sense. Like,
Yeah.
as in, I feel like the man should make the moves, and obviously you're meant to be the hunters, I guess, as they call it.
Yeah.
So go for what you want. But I feel like social media also has a big part to play in the dating game these days.
Very true.
I feel like that has messed it up for everyone, and that's the realist. Like, literally, guys are scared to talk to girls now. Even if they see someone, they might not want to approach you. Like, I've had female friends say to me, oh, one guy was looking at my friend and he kept staring. So she like literally gave him the eye, like to give him, you know, come and talk to me. And he literally didn't. So the friend went over to him and was like, you know, my friend likes you. Like, why don't you come and talk to her? You've obviously been looking at her all night. And he was just like, oh, I just didn't know if I should go up to her or not. And like, be confident. Like, not everyone is here. Like,
Well, why can't women go up to men they like?
Oh, I don't know if I could do that.
Why not?
I would just feel some type of way. Like, how
But don't
would
you think
feel?
guys feel a type of way when they have to put themselves out there?
I know, but that's just not my thing. I just could not do it.
Why not?
Like I said, I'm old school. I can't.
So I'm going to challenge you, right?
Here we go.
I'm going to challenge you because you say that you're traditional in that sense.
In certain aspects with certain things.
So, because the argument I hear from guys, right, and this is why we have this conversation, is it's like sometimes a woman will say that she's traditional in the ways that benefit her.
I knew this was coming. Go ahead.
So, for example, like a woman be like strong and independent, which is cool.
Yeah.
But then she goes out on a date and she expects him to pay because she's traditional in that sense. And it's like, well, how traditional are you?
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
No, you can't. Like if you're, so for example, I'm just saying back in the day. I'm not saying this is how it should be,
I know
right?
what's coming.
But if we're talking traditional, a guy pays for everything,
Yeah.
puts his life in the line for his woman, which
Yeah.
I believe is the right thing to do. There came certain things that she would have to do for him.
Cook, clean.
If we're saying
housework.
traditional, if we're saying traditional, and that's not saying you have to be that way, but then if you say you're traditional, like there are other things that come with that. Like there's the give and take. There's a give and receive, right?
Yeah.
So you can't be like, oh, I receive in a traditional way, but I'm only gonna give in a contemporary way.
I was going to say the same about guys because I feel like guys say they want a submissive woman or traditional, but again, when it benefits them. So the guys that are stating that they want a woman to cook for me, I want my hot meals every day. Okay, but say like you said nowadays, you're both going out and working. So she's expected to still come home and do the cooking and cleaning. Okay, well, back in the day, the women didn't work. So if you want me to sit at home and do all of that, then you need to take care of everything. Because I feel like a lot of guys now that are wanting these things, again, it's for when it benefits them.
I think that's a fair point. Like, so if we take that for example, like so we're saying home domestics duties, right? So I agree. If, for example, they are sharing equal, let's say bills, right? Like rent or mortgage, everything like that. If it's equal 50-50, then I think it is definitely unreasonable for him to be like, okay, I'm never going to cook. That's her job at the house. That's completely unreasonable. But I will ask you, what if he takes care of, let's say, 80% of the bills, but you both still work? What would you then say?
I'll say we work together to do whatever needs to get done in the house.
I mean, yeah.
If I'm home from work before you,
Yeah.
then obviously I will get everything ready. If you've been at home all day or you're, you know, obviously I'd expect stuff to be done, not me going to work and come home and still having to do it because I'm the woman or whatever reason. I just feel like no relationship is ever fully 50-50 all % of the time.
I agree.
There might be certain times it's 70-30. Maybe there's a certain time in life you're making more money than me and I might have to cover certain things or vice versa. There may be times I'm not having a great time financially or whatever and then you're taking, you know, I feel like it's never 50-50 all the way.
I agree. You know, I mean, like I'd even say for me, I'm quite a liberal minded in that sense. But like even then, like, you know, with an ex-girlfriend of mine, like I probably cooked 40% of the time. Yeah. And she would cook 60% of the time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I agree, it's a teamwork. I think it's like who's going to take responsibility for more things, right? In what parts of the relationship? Okay. And I think I agree. If a guy's like, yeah, she has to pay for half the stuff and be doing all the most, I think that's an unreasonable ask. Yeah. What's something you'd like to bring to the table? Is there anything you'd like to bring to the table and talk about?
Bring to the table, I would say, so for example, like a while ago, now one of my exes that I used to live with, like we didn't really have a discussion. Things kind of just happened naturally, which I also feel would happen maybe with the right person. Obviously, you do have to have certain discussions, but obviously when you're seeing someone, so gradually I started leaving some stuff at his, eventually moved into his. Right. But he never asked for any money, like to pay towards the rent, bills, anything like that. So automatically, I just used to take care of the food shopping, do the food, like cooking, cleaning and all of that stuff. Like we kind of just fell into our roles, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Which again, I think would happen naturally depending on the person you're with as well. Like I feel like you would naturally pull towards something or start doing certain things just because maybe that's naturally in you or that person brings it out of you, this and that. So depending on the person I'm with, I guess, they might bring out certain parts of me, you know?
Yeah.
But I've got awesome things to bring to the table.
No, of course. I meant like, no, I completely hear that. It is interesting when we say like, oh, this person brings this out of me. And I think while that is true, I think we have to be careful of saying, oh, well, if I'm not like this, it's because you're doing something wrong. Because I think we all have ways of showing our love and care for each other, right? So if, for example, I don't know, like if, for example, if one of the ways I showed my care and affection is making sure that she feels safe when we go out together, right? So if anything happens, she knows I'm there or whatever, right? And if I'm with a girl and I don't do that for her, and I go, well, I don't do that because you're not the type of woman that I want to make feel safe. Yeah. It's like, well, then why would I then choose you? Because if that's how I show my love and that's how I show my affection, by choosing you, by default, I'm saying this is what I want to do for you. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It's not that you're choosing to be a certain way around a certain person, but I just think personalities naturally will bring out certain parts of you. Like your character will always be your character.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I'm naturally a thoughtful person. Like, so say I'm going out and I see your favorite ice cream's on offer for like 2 for 1, I'll pick it up or whatever, things like that. So it's not to say that you're going to cut a certain part of you out just because of that person or whatever, but it just every relationship is different.
Of course.
People personalities are different, so they will bring different parts of you out. Like you will always be essentially you, but they might highlight certain things, you know? Yeah, maybe you learn about yourself through certain situations with different people. Exactly. You're like, oh, this is an element of myself I didn't even know. Yeah. It's like one guy was asking me recently, he was like, oh, what's your love language? And I've done the test ages ago, but I can't remember what it is. Okay. But I remember one of it was gifts, and but his response to that straight was like, he literally was like, oh, what, bags and shoes? Yeah. I'm like, like, no, not bags and shoes. I was like, the best gifts I've ever had, one was an electric blanket because I'm always cold. Okay. I was just like, literally, like the most thoughtful thing. Yes. Second best gift I've always had was like a treasure chest of like Disney classics because I love Disney. Right. So when I say being thoughtful, like for me, that is a big thing. When I'm saying gifts, I don't mean go and spend thousands of pounds. I mean, make it personal to me, you know. And is that thoughtful. How you say you share your love for them? Yeah. Literally, like it has to be personal. Like not every female is out here for the same thing. Like you have to get to know the person individually. Like you can generalize, but not everyone's the same. No, of course. You know? It's so true. And that is true. Whenever if a guy hears gifts, he's like, oh, like, we have to be high maintenance doing the most for this girl and stuff. But yeah, I think if you express gift, like I love giving personalized gifts to someone, then it makes them go, oh, like it's not just a one-way street. So how we connected was through our friend Rosie. Yes. And hi Rose, if you're watching this. And she said that you shared a clip on your story from one of my episodes. What was it? Can you remember what it was? I can't remember what the actual clip was, but the context was something to do with older women. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was around that kind of region. Okay. I can't remember what exactly it was you said, but I just remember thinking, oh, okay, it was something to do with I can't remember what it was now. I'm trying to think, what clip have I said about older women? I don't know, I'm biased because half the women I've dated have been older than me. I probably would have said something like, oh, there was a clip where I said what older women have that younger women don't have. Yeah, it was something along those lines. And it's basically like mindset towards relationships. Like younger girls might come with more like headache or whatever, so maybe someone might go for somebody older, something like that. But because you know, guys, I guess generally would go for a younger woman because of aesthetics or how they look or whatever. But I think that the initial attraction, that is true. But I think when you have experience with dealing with different people, you really start to prioritize her mind and her mindset as well as the attractiveness. Do you know what I mean? Or how attracted you are to her. Because I don't know,
it's like once you've been to Vegas so many times, like you know what it is. It's the glitz and glam. It's nice. It's money and stuff.
Been there,
but
done that.
but then it's kind of like it's not worth the investment unless the mindset lines up with mine in certain ways.
So do you think age does play a part in that, or not necessarily when it comes to?
I mean, it definitely plays a part in terms of someone's experience. I think I personally, for me, I often refer to emotional intelligence. Of course, the older someone is, the more likely they're going to be more mature. More likely,
yeah.
At least compared to themselves. 10 years ago.
In females, I don't know about guys.
You would think. I think. I think I'm an exception to the rule. I think that. I think our generation in particular, in the environment we grow up in, we put off adulthood and responsibilities a lot later, right? 50 years ago, if like I'm 28, like I'll probably have a wife and 3 kids by now.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think can come at life stages, and I think sometimes not saying that guys can't be emotionally mature, but I think sometimes it can be confused that he's immature and he's just not at the life stage that maybe a woman is at. Does that make sense?
Not even in the sense of, like, to me, I used to be like, I'd never date anyone this age or that age, but I think it's come to a point now. I've dated younger, I've dated the same age, I've dated older. Men are just men.
Men are just men. Men are just men, you know.
Just men. Like, everyone gets to different stages at different points in their life. Some men may never get there. Like, I've dated 50-year-olds that might think they're still 25. I've dated people in their 20s that are mature for their age or still act like they're 20. But do you know what I mean? It's like, or people my age that are just not. Yeah, I think it just depends on the person. Like,
yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I do think with a lot of women, there does come an age where if they were just looking to mess around and stuff, I do think there comes a point where they're like, okay, they want to settle down. Yeah. And it usually happens around 30. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, you've played the field and, and I understand, there's if you want to have a family, then, that can be a thing. Let me see what else I've got for you. Okay, if there was a question you could ask most men today, what would you ask them?
This is one, because this has come up quite a bit for me recently.
Yep.
Do you feel that you need to be financially secure in order to have a relationship?
I would say in order to have a wife, 100%.
Really?
100%.
Why? This is all I keep hearing. Like, it's not that I'm not meeting decent people, but I think, are they just capping? Are they just not on it? Or is that really what the situation is?
Yeah, because I think most men know, even if a woman works, she would like him to take care of the majority of the financial burden within the relationship. If they're going to live together and join their lives together. Yeah. So if he's not in a position where he can do that, he feels like I'm not at a point where I can provide that for someone.
So what happened to building together? Could you not still, can you not multitask? Can't be building your brand and have a girlfriend that could eventually be your wife? Or
I think you definitely can do that. You definitely can do that. I think, we said about social media. I think a lot of what men see online is a guy has to bring this and this to the table for her to choose him. Yeah. So if he's not bringing all those things yet, he's like, well, I'm not in a position where I can do that for a woman, right? If a woman says, okay, well, if I'm going to marry him, he has to have his own house and, a stable income and all of this. And it's like, okay, well, if a guy's not there, and if that's what he's seeing online, then he's going to think, okay, well, I want to date around because I'm a man and I have my needs and I want to connect with people. But in terms of something serious longevity, until I'm at that point, then they feel that they can't provide it for her, so they won't choose it. Because the thing is, like,
I'm like, hi.
And it's not that there aren't women out there who aren't like, oh, I will build with my man. Yeah. I just think we don't hear it that often. Yeah. We hear the other thing of a guy has to be there already.
Need to have this, need to have that.
Yeah. Do you think that's fair or no?
Yeah, I get it. I feel like there's a lot of pressures both ends, like for male and female, for different reasons. And again, like you said, it is the social media thing. Everyone's seeing this lifestyle, and it's like, gosh. But as easily, okay, say you get a man with that. What happens if that all goes? Like I said, not everything's going to be 100% all the time, you know.
True.
So if you're going for specific women that are after just these things, would she not just then upgrade to the next one who's making more money or this? So why can't you just, I don't know, find somebody you just, I don't know, build together. This is what I mean.
You can. I mean, like, I think I agree. If you choose a woman who just wants those things, then you can't be surprised if she leaves for, you know, a more successful, richer man.
Yeah.
I just think that, like I said, what we hear a lot is that's the minimum requirement.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? For a man to be in a place where he can provide a home to invite a woman in.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's way harder to, like, you know, get your own place and get your own set up.
100%.
It's way harder. What do you think are some of the pressures on women, you know, in terms of for having a man? What do you think some of the pressures are?
I don't know if there's pressures necessarily. I think, like you said, it's more so, for me, it's more personal pressures. It's what you put on yourself. Like, I don't really follow what other people is doing. I truly believe everyone's got their own path. Everyone's got their own time. I'm not on the same journey you're on.
Yes.
Like, regardless of age or this or that. Like, everyone has their own life experience. So it does get to the point. For me, it's more the whole wanting to have a family and this and that and kids. And once you get to a certain age, you start thinking about that. Guys do not even have to worry about, you lot can have kids at 70. So you're not. So in that sense, it's made me, and again, because of experience, like, you move quicker when it comes to dating. Like, I will know within a short space of time if that person is for me or not. And I keep it moving. Like, when you're younger, you will waste the time. Oh, let me just wait and see let me just give it. No.
So how quick do you decide? Like, within the first date, second date?
It depends on the person. Sure. Like, I think sometimes you know straight away, like, if you're sitting down and you can't really catch a vibe, you're not conversating properly, like, you're not bouncing off each other. Like, I need banter.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'm one of those girls, like, we have to laugh.
Yeah.
If you're not coming with the bants or you're overly sensitive and you can't handle the jokes, then it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, for me, life is short, but if it's with the wrong person, it can be very long.
Yeah. So do you think there's such a thing as that one right person for you?
I don't know. Like, everyone says you just know when you know. Everyone says there's 3 major loves. Your first love.
Yep.
There's the one that breaks your heart, and then there's your true love. That's what I've heard. So I've had the first 2.
Oh, damn, man. I'm sorry.
I've had the first 2.
I'm sorry.
But maybe the third one hasn't come yet. So I don't know. Everyone's just like, you'll know you when you know. But then at the same time, I do feel like all relationships are work. Yeah. So whoever you're with, again, I know on this building thing, I keep saying, but you make it work. You compromise. I don't, whether or not that makes them the one, or there is only one person. This is a big whole world. Like, how do you know where this person is? They might not even be in the UK, like, you know? Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you. I think this whole thing of the one, I think that's a romantic fairy tale that have been sold to women. And I think it holds a lot of them back.
It does.
Because I think they're like, oh, well, when I meet my person, I'll know straight away and I'll have all these butterflies. Yeah. Because this is what I've seen. And I understand the romanticism of it. But if you talk to our grandparents' generation, who have marriages that have lasted 50, 60, 70 years, they've built a life together, they've grown amazing families together. 90% of them, it was not that. And I think the one isn't the one that you have the most infatuation for. It's the 100%. Person you choose. And I truly believe that a relationship is choosing someone every day, despite the things that maybe you don't like about them, because you go, no one's perfect, right? But this is somebody who I choose to work with, and they're choosing to work with me. One thing I always say is what porn is to men is what rom-coms are to women.
Oh my God.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah, because porn sets unrealistic expectations in men about women's bodies and about sex. And rom-coms set unrealistic expectations in women about men, about love, and about relationships. Because like you said, relationship is work.
It is, and a lot of people don't want to put the work in these days.
Yeah,
like you said, like in love, like you've chosen that person in spite of, like, but I feel like that in spite nowadays people would not even hang around for all these little things. But like you said, nobody's perfect. Like,
well, you did kind of say yourself, you're like, you move on quick. You're like, if I don't see this, I'm gone.
But that's not even on little things. I mean little things like when people talk about icks these days, I'm not talking about an ick.
Okay.
Like, do you know what I mean? I'm talking about like character, like if we're gonna work together, like how we gel together, not like silly little things like, oh, maybe he keeps his socks on in the bed, or with nothing else.
You know, it's cold out here, boy. It's cold out here. I might have to keep my socks on. No, I feel you.
You know, like I feel like people will lock things off for stupid little things like that. Yeah, I'm talking about just literally how are we gonna work as a team, like, you know.
Okay, so on that, right? When I work with my clients or whatever, when I work with women and men, but mainly women, I always say have 3 non-negotiables. Everything else you can negotiate and compromise on. Okay. What are your 3 non-negotiables in a man?
I've never thought about that.
It's a good thing to think about.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah. So like earlier you said about when you kind of meet a guy and you go, this ain't for me because of character. Yeah. What are 3 non-negotiables in his character that you're like, whoever I choose has to have these things?
They cannot be selfish.
Okay. Let's use it in a positive sense. So instead of saying he can't be this, it's like he is this.
He is not selfish.
Damn, she got me, guys. She got me. So should we say it's thoughtful?
Thoughtful.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's thoughtful.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that earlier anyway.
You did?
Yeah, that is obviously a big thing then, without even realising. So being thoughtful. I'm going to say emotionally mature. And what I mean by that is be able to have a conversation. A lot of men still can't deal with their emotions. Like, I don't know what it is. They say women are emotional, or we overreact with this and that, but at least we're dealing with the emotions.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
A lot of men are closed off. Like, I want to be able to have a conversation with you.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
You're not going to see that straight away, though. That takes...
So you mean instant, like more of like a...
Well, I mean, the emotional thing is that takes, for a man to open up emotionally to a woman, it takes a lot of trust. A lot of trust. Because a man, and sometimes you do hear stories like this, you know, he may share something and then it's used against him later. So he has to really trust it. And that, honestly, that takes weeks, if not months for some guys. And it's not saying that you build that trust up as you go. So you open up more as you go. But the level in which women feel that they can share, right? Because society accepts that, people accept that. Men are generally a lot more private. So it's like, I'm only going to share that with whoever my woman is. Do you know what I mean? That takes time.
Okay.
But sorry, yeah, and the third thing.
I'm going to have to think about it. I really don't know. I think being a family man's important to me because my family is important to me.
Okay. For someone close with his family.
Yeah. Not too close.
Well, not too close. What's too close?
I get in the way.
Why is your sister blowing up your phone, fam?
Do you know what my friend says? She's so awful, bless her. But
go on.
Like, she's had problems with the in-laws, obviously. All she says to me is, Sam, she's like, just find an orphan. I'm just like, she says it to me all the time. She's like, don't want to deal with families. It's too much headache. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like,
are you close with your family?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Wow, come on. You have to deal with your in-laws too? Do you have a brother or sister?
3 sisters.
3? Shase. 3 sisters, you know. Yeah. Oh, this man ain't doing this
4
for you.
Girls.
Oh, damn. Oh, wow, that's amazing. How? What are they like? Are you guys similar? Are you
They're
close?
interesting.
Okay.
4 females growing up together. It's not always been fun and games. You know what I mean? We have our problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part.
I hear that. You're there for each other at the end of the day. No?
Yeah, no.
Is there one sister you're like, who is there one person in your family?
Yeah.
Like, if you were taking a man seriously, you're like, this is who I'm potentially going to choose.
Yeah.
I care about this person's opinion about him.
Yeah.
Who's that for you?
What, in my immediate family, or you mean just in general?
In your immediate family.
Probably my little sister.
Your little sister?
Yeah.
Why her?
I'd say we've got more of a similar mentality. Yeah, in that sense.
I hear that.
Yeah.
All right. What's one thing I want to ask you? Do you think it's harder to find commitment nowadays?
Yeah.
You do?
100%.
Why do you think it? Why do you think so?
Hello. I wish I could even answer that. I do not know.
No? I mean, you have options, though. You're an attractive woman. You'll have guys who want you.
It's not all attention is good attention.
True. Very true.
Commitment is, like I said, I know I keep coming back to social media, but I just feel like it's made such a huge impact. A lot of people now just want to swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah.
That's it. There's too many options.
So you
That's
think
the problem nowadays.
For you or for them?
For them. I think men have more options. I know it sounds mad. I feel like men literally have the pick of the bunch.
No.
You don't think so?
They don't.
I feel like in the long run, you guys really have the final say, because you have to be the one to be like, okay, I actually want a relationship with you, or I actually want to make you my wife. Like, women, yeah, we may have the guys approach us, or we may have the option in that sense. Like they say, women hold the key to what? The sex, and men to relationships. So
that is true, but in terms of actual potential options, women have way more than men, especially today, because of the reasons you said.
You think so?
I know so.
I don't know.
I do this all the time.
Okay.
What percentage of men, single men out there, do you think are going on dates and like being engaged with women in romantically?
What percentage?
Yeah, if you had to guess.
Oof. As in like just going on dates regularly?
Yeah, like a guy who wants to date women.
Yeah.
Right? Out of the single guys who want to date women, what percentage do you think are actually out there dating, like getting dates with women, maybe having connections with them?
I don't know about connections, but dating, I'd say is pretty high. I'd probably say like 60.
60?
Yeah.
It's way lower than that.
What's way lower?
It's about 20%.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
But then these females that are going out on these dates, they're obviously out with a guy, aren't they? So obviously...
Yeah, but the caveat is that they're going out with the same guys. Okay, what I mean is this. The Pareto principle. Have you heard of that? It's the 80-20 rule. Okay. And it's kind of like a universal rule, and it kind of naturally happens across many realms and landscapes, right? So like 20% of stars in the galaxy hold 80% of the galaxy's mass. 20% of cities in the world hold 80% of the world's population. 20% of authors are responsible for 80% of books sold, right? 20% of people in the world hold 80% of the world's wealth. If you're in the West, that includes you, by the way. Everybody in the West is part of the top 20% who holds the world's global wealth. In dating, it's about 20% of men are dating about 80% of the women.
That makes no sense to me.
Let me ask you this. Out of 50 guys who approach you randomly,
yeah,
old, young, fat, slim,
yeah,
out of 50 random guys who approach you,
yeah,
how many of them do you look at and you go, oh yeah, I like the look and vibe of you enough that I'd go on a date with you, out of 50?
I'm not gonna lie, there's times I would just give my number out so I'm left alone and they were getting blocked straight away.
Yeah. So how many? Watch out, she may do it. But how many of those that you actually give your number out with intention to meeting up? Like out of 50 random guys who approach you.
Is it enough for me to say, actually you're right?
Just be honest.
I wouldn't even say half.
Just be honest. 5? 10?
Out of 50?
3?
Let's go for 20.
20? That's quite generous. That's quite generous. For most women, it's less than 10.
Out of 50?
Out of 50. Every time I ask this question, most women usually say between 5 and 10. But the issue is the same 10 guys that you would choose are the same 10 guys she would choose, she would choose, right? Now, you may choose a different kind because we all have our preferences, but there's a lot of crossover. Because just because a guy's dating one girl, that doesn't mean he's not dating 5 others.
But this is what I mean by I say the guys have got the choice. Or
but
the
a
pick
very
of the
small
bunch.
percentage of guys have the choice. And this is what I'm trying to articulate, is that it's a very small percentage of men who get all of the opportunity with women.
Because you think women all go for the same kind of guys.
Well, they do. Like, a lot of women have a list, right?
Yeah.
6 foot, good looking, nice teeth, confident, funny, all of these things.
Yeah.
How many men do you think actually tick all those boxes?
I know.
It's very small.
Yeah.
And because we live in a day and age of like sexual liberty and hookup culture and stuff, which is great, we have the freedom to do what we want. It's not like back in the day where, oh, well, because we know guys, the reason a guy goes on a date with a girl is because he wants to have physical intimacy with her.
Yeah.
He may be open to getting to know who she is, but it is his sexual drive that gets him to ask her, right?
Yeah.
So if we know that guys are wanting sexual intimacy with women, back in the day, it was, you only had that when you gave commitment.
Yeah, true.
But now it's like, well, we live in sexually liberated times.
Yep.
A guy can be having sex with her, this girl,
Don't need
this
the
girl.
commitment.
You don't need it,
Everyone's
right?
out here living their best lives.
That's it. So that's how you end up getting a very small percentage of men who get all of the opportunity. Now, I understand it seems like, oh, guys have to pick. But it's only because you only deal with that top percentage guys. There are so many guys around you who are probably just invisible to you.
How do you... So when you're saying, why would I never approach a guy? Like, how would you feel if a woman approaches you? Or if a woman has approached you, like, do you not... Would you judge her for approaching you? Or what's your initial instinct if a woman comes up to you?
I love it. I think it's only ever happened to me less than 10 times in my life. But I'm like, because one, guys, we never expect it.
Yeah.
Right? So we're caught off guard.
Yeah.
Girls, you expect to be approached, right?
Okay.
You're like, oh, this guy's looking at me, or, you know, this guy's creeping on me, he's following me around. Like, so you've had experience in handling approaches. Guys, most guys haven't.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, hi, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it makes it, we don't judge a woman for it. If anything, it's like, oh, wow, like, this opportunity has come my way.
Like, she's picked
and
me.
it's nice. Yeah, of course. Because we all want to be chosen.
But then would you not feel like, is this just what she does?
Even so, like, we'd be like, oh, this is... Should I tell you what? Half of the interaction of a guy meeting a woman is knowing whether she likes him.
Okay.
Right? If she approaches
She's
him,
already cut that out.
No, but it's like, for him, it's like, oh, she likes me.
She likes me, yeah.
I can relax. I can be flirty. I can be playful. Because when a guy approaches a girl that he doesn't know, he's gauging or trying to gauge, if he's smart enough. Does she like me? Does she want me to continue talking to her? Can I flirt with her? If I flirt with her, is she going to think I'm creepy, or does she actually want that? Whereas if a girl approaches us, it's like, oh, I can be like that with her.
God, I wouldn't even know where to start. Jesus. I just could not do it. And that's the thing. And everyone's saying that to me as well. They're like, fair enough being traditional or whatever, but times have changed as well, and you need to go with the times. Like, there's so many people out here going to get what they want. Like, if you see someone, like, you should just approach them. But, oh, child.
So here's what I would say. There's nothing wrong if you want to be, you know, a woman who waits for the men to come to her. That's fine, right? But then we can't complain about the lack of options that we have. Because all you're doing is waiting for the options to come to you. And if you want something different,
try something different.
You gotta try something different. Like, how would you like a guy to approach you? How do you like a guy to approach you?
Just general conversation. Just, hi, how you doing? Like, just normal talk.
Okay, so you're sitting at a bar, right? And there's a guy looking over. He wants to come and approach you. Just give me the step-by-step play.
You always give them the look and the smile so they can approach you. Let them know, hi, I'm open for conversation.
Yeah. So let's say he comes up, what does he say to you? What do you want to say to you?
Just, hey, how you doing? My name's blah, blah, blah. Like, just, you know, compliment me to start.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he approaches you and he's just like, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I thought you were cool. Like, why couldn't you do that with a guy?
Again, not to go back to it. I just feel like, is it not in guys' nature to do that? Like, is it not... I know it doesn't come natural for every guy, obviously, but I feel like it's more embedded in you lot to do that. Like, females are not really...
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it is in a guy's nature to do that. Some will argue it is. But the truth is, it's... If we don't do that, we lose.
So you don't really have a choice.
So we don't really have a choice. It's like, if you want to play this game,
Yeah.
You have to build up the courage to go ask a girl out.
You got to be in it to win it.
Right? Girls have the luxury of not having to.
Yeah.
Because the guys come to you.
Yeah.
But in an alternate universe, right? It's like, well, if you want that, it's like studying for a job.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if jobs just came to you, you wouldn't study for it. But
you
you
know
you
what?
have to go and study to get the job that you want, so everyone goes and does it.
It's very rare that I've actually been out and I'm like, I would feel the need to actually approach anyone. Like, no one's really got my attention in that sense where I'm just like, oh my God, like I need to talk to that guy. Like
no one? That's never happened?
No,
You've looked at
I
a
didn't
guy,
say
you've been
never,
like, I
but
want to talk
it's
to him?
very rarely. I think it's happened to me. There's only one time actually when I was away on holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw one guy and I literally, I didn't even mean to react. I was just like, damn, like, do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Looked at him, he looked at me. I was literally just like, kind of, I want to talk to you, signal to him, whatever. And then he came over and we started talking. But I didn't actually, again, approach him, but I just kind of gave him the signal to be like, come and talk to me. But I feel like guys, when you lot are out, you can see a load of beautiful women that you can talk to or whatever. But I don't feel there's as much for women to look at. It sounds terrible, but I'm never out on a night out and I'm like, yep, you like.
Well, I would then, so let's say if you're out on a bar, right? Let's say out of all the guys in there, there's two in there that you're like, I would talk to. Maybe that's more of a reason why you should go talk to him. Because most other girls probably want to talk to him too.
Yeah.
Because if it's like, it's different. Let's say if there's a guy out and it's like, wow, like half the girls here I'd talk to.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to approach everyone. And he doesn't feel need because he's like, oh, I'd have to approach her because it's not convenient time. She's hanging with her friends. Oh, she's on her way to the toilet. It's like, oh, she's on her own. Let me go say hi, right? But if you're like, there's one guy in this entire club that I would actually want to talk to, you should probably go after him.
All right. 2023 and that.
Do it, man. New year. New approach. New approach.
Jeez.
Is there something you'd like to bring to discussion? Anything you'd like to talk about?
I think I've kind of already touched on them, which was, I guess, guys making plans or being a bit more aggressive when it comes to taking someone out. Asked you about the financial thing, which was if guys need to be obviously financially secure to get into anything, but not really. Other than that, actually, one of my guy friends brought it recently. I think he's just turned 35, and he's just like, I think this year's going to be the year. He's like, I want to settle down now. Like, I want to have kids and stuff. Yeah. Because he's saying like he doesn't want to be an old dad. Like, you know, he wants to be able to run around with his kids and stuff. Like, but obviously he's waited. But now he's at that point. Do guys even have that urgency to like have a family, or do they feel like, okay, I want to have kids now? Is that a thing?
There can be a bit of an urgency, like if he doesn't want to be an older dad. There's not that much of an urgency compared to women, which is the truth. When it comes to commitment, timing is very important for a guy. Like, if he's not in a place where he's wanting that, it's super unlikely that he will get into something serious. Because unless like one girl comes into his life and just turns his world upside down, which can happen, but it's rare for that to happen. Because usually if that happens, it means he probably feels like she's way out of his league, so he'll do anything to keep her, right? But girls generally don't choose. Well, do they choose guys who are not in their league? Not really. There's usually other ways, you know, because women have way more options. But yeah, like if he's at a point where he wants to, you know, is he financially stable? That's why he's saying it, right?
Yeah, no, he is.
He's in a position where
he can actually settle down,
be a father and a husband for a family he wants to provide for. Do you find like a lot of guys in their early to mid 30s? Do you find a lot of them are in that mindset, or do you think a lot of them are still wanting to play around?
A lot of my guy friends in that age range they're on making money right now. That's it. Yeah. They're literally just like, I need to get my money together. Of course. That's literally it. They're not even thinking about, but they're also in the space of, because of their age, like if they were to have a kid now, like they would have it, because obviously they're in their 30s now, so they're old enough, whether they're financially stable or where they want to be. Yeah. But I find like, in their 30s, that age range literally are just getting stable, getting to where they want to be. Like that's kind of where they're at right now.
Would you build with a guy who's 35 but doesn't have his shit together?
How not got his shit together is he? There's levels. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, what's the lowest level you would go? You
they
said
need
about
to have
building.
something together. At least have a steady job. Or when you say
He has a job.
he has a job. That's
He has a
it.
job.
Anything else?
He has a job. He's renting with 7 other people in a house.
Okay. As long as you're making moves towards where you want to be. So, because I feel like a lot of people just talk. If you're just like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have this, I'm going to be great. But what are you doing to reach to that level or to that goal? So well and good talking. So if I can see you're actually making moves and there's progress and you're actually going to get there, then that's, yeah.
Okay. But what if he's waiting for another woman who brings double income so that they can move in together?
Don't waste my time.
What, as in...
Why if he's waiting for another woman?
Yeah.
So why are you entertaining me?
No, as in like, no, what I mean, as in like, if he's like, oh, the reason he's not got his place and everything like that is because he's waiting for a partner so that they can do it together.
Okay, that's different. I thought you meant someone who's already got that, who's gonna...
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
I was like, what?
I didn't mean that. Do you think it'd be wrong for a guy to be like, oh, I want a woman who has her own place so I can move in with her?
If you're putting it in that sense, yes.
Why?
Just how you've worded it, because it feels like you're just looking for a woman so you can have a little bit of security there in that sense, not necessarily because that's the person you want to be with.
Well, as in like his requirement for a woman who would choose is she has to have her own place. So that
that's your prerogative. Everyone's got what they want.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know, like I've been with people that maybe have their own place but don't have a car or don't drive, but then I drive, so it's like kind of balances out.
Yeah,
so,
it balances out.
Yeah,
I hear that. Do you think body count matters in dating?
I never discuss it.
No.
I've never asked anyone I've dated about body count.
Do you care about a man's body count?
Probably that's why I don't ask.
Good lesson,
Ignorance
kids.
is bliss. Like,
good lesson, kids.
I've literally never had that conversation. It's such a dangerous conversation to have.
Why do you think it's dangerous? I don't disagree with you, but I'm asking why. I've
just never cared to know. I just feel like everyone has a past, everyone has history.
Yeah.
That's it. I've just never had that discussion.
So if a guy was like, I've been with over 1,000 women, would you not look at him a bit differently, or would you be like, oh, fair enough, cool, good for you, man. I'm happy for you, bro.
God, if anyone got to their thousands, is that even possible?
Yeah, it depends on the guy. Usually, like guys who are like superstars, you know, entertainers, athletes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They usually hit the thousands.
I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel.
No.
I want to say it wouldn't matter, but it depends what they're trying to offer me.
Wifehood. They're like, I'm ready to settle down now. Like, I want to, you know, bring someone into my life. I want to, you know, have a family and stuff. But I've been with 1,500 women sexually.
Are you clean? Would be
I better see that question. STI test immediately.
Do you know what? I couldn't hold that against them. If, say, like I said, I'm in my 30s now. If I've literally met someone that I feel like, oh my God, like this is the person I want to build my life with.
Yeah.
How can I let that stop me?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't, like, it's hard out here. If you actually meet someone and you think, raw, like this is my person, like we can actually build a good life together. We get on, ticking all the boxes or whatever, then yeah.
Do you feel you can feel that way about a guy who doesn't tick the tangible boxes? So what I mean is you meet a guy and you're like, there's this just connection here. He's emotionally intelligent. I really love how he makes me feel. We have great banter. He makes me laugh. But like, let's say he's 35, still on like a entry level job. Like, do you feel that could still be your person outside of the tangible things? Or do you feel like my person is someone who I feel that way with and has these tangible metrics?
Do you know what? Everyone says to me, oh, Sam, you have to compromise on something. And I'm just like, they're like, what would you not compromise on? But I'm like, I don't know what I'm willing to compromise on until I've met that person, if that makes sense. Right. Because they may have all these other things and there'll be one thing that they don't have. But like I said, if I feel like that's my person, if they've just got a regular job, whatever that is, again, like I said, we can always build together.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Question on that. Why isn't a regular job enough? Why do you have to build?
Everyone wants to be comfortable, don't they? like, not even for you, like for myself, I don't want to struggle. Like, who does?
Well, not struggling, but you can have a home together.
Yeah.
And because I think this does play from like the social media, right? We see people living this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's striving to have this lifestyle of traveling when you want. You're just like, you just see the thousands rolling in and you're sitting at home with your feet up and blah, blah, blah. And while that is very attractive, obviously, it's not realistic for 95% of people.
Yeah.
Like it's not real.
Yeah.
That's why it does well on social media, because it's very rare to have. That's why I was like liking it and like, you know, aspiring for it. But like, you know, I guess I think people underestimate how much contentment they can find with a partner that they love and respect, and you're just living an average life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's different. Like I said, for me, those little things are important. Like I said, just like the trust, the respect, being emotionally stable, little things like that.
Yeah.
That's not to say, like, I've had offers from people that are well off or have got money, whatever, and I know I'm not built that way because I've had certain offers and I'm just like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Again, if something's not feeling right, if it doesn't sit right with me, I can't do it. I don't know how these girls do it.
It takes compromise. It takes work.
No, but I mean, getting with somebody who's got money just for the sake they've got money, like.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's like.
You need to have, like, it takes a lot more one than just chemistry. I know that as well, because there's been ones that you've had that are like, oh my God, chemistry is crazy. But to build on something proper, it takes more than chemistry as well. Like.
What would you rather?
Uh-oh.
Ready? Would you rather a guy who is financially secure, chemistry is below mediocre, or a guy with the chemistry is the best you ever had, but he is in no position to have a family or life with you? Not life, let me rephrase. No position to... He cannot provide the foundation for a family.
Oh,
you have to do that.
That's a tough one.
What would you rather?
Can I have something in the middle?
No.
What do you mean can't provide a foundation? So I would be like the breadwinner and whatever.
You would bear the majority of the responsibility when it comes to the finances of the relationship and of the family.
I don't know if I want all that pressure.
So which would you choose?
Yes, mad. I've never thought about it like that. But this is why I say it's 50-50, and it will never always be 50-50. Sometimes it's 70-30. So it's like,
yeah.
Why does it have to be one extreme to the next, you know?
Well, the reason I'm giving that example is because this may not be the sweetest, most fairy tale thing to say, but I do think it's a reality of life. In life, there are choices and trade-offs. You can't have everything. 100%. And there's something also called the weakness of strength, which is there's two sides to every coin. So the very attractive trait you find in a guy under different circumstances could be his weakness. So what I mean, for example, is let's say you have a guy who's very ambitious and very driven, and you're like, I find that very attractive. Cool. The other side of that is maybe he prioritizes his work over you.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't get to spend as much time with him as you want.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So this whole thing of, I want a guy who's incredibly ambitious and driven, but then he has to have all the time that I want for me. It's not realistic. Yeah. Which is why I gave you those two extremes. Or the guy who has all the time for you, he can text you every day, he can see you every day. He ain't got nothing going on.
Oh, guys, but they're too extreme. Like, I just want the balance. Like, why?
Okay, have you found that balance?
No.
Well, then maybe it doesn't exist.
Maybe not. But this is what I mean. Like,
so you have to pick your poison.
But this is what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm willing to compromise on until I meet that person.
But you won't. But I don't think you will meet that person until you decide what you're willing to compromise on. Because through the lens you're looking at it through your lens still, and no one is lining up in this lens. So you need to have a different lens in order to meet that person. Why what? Why what?
I don't know.
Why? What do you think?
I feel like that is that not more limiting? I know that everyone's like, you should have your list or what you want, what you're not willing to.
I think you should have 3 non-negotiables. Yeah. Everything outside of that is you should be able to compromise.
Okay.
I think. So if you're like, okay, financially secure, wants a relationship.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's
A
pretty
lot of
much
people
a
forget that one.
non-negotiable.
They're like, I want all of these things. Yeah, but does he want a relationship?
Oh my
I don't know. Well, then all
God.
these things are
Yeah.
irrelevant, right?
So true.
Financially stable, wants a relationship, good banter.
Yeah. 3 things.
Everything else, compromise. Height, compromise.
Okay.
Money, compromise. If
Huh.
you earn your own money, like you can work together, right? You can
True.
build a bear together.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are 3 things that you wish men knew about women? And I'll give you 3 things that men wish women knew about men.
What do they know? Okay. But I think we're actually simple creatures.
She's a liar.
Literally, men are like, women are this, women are like, I'm very simple. Feed me, let me sleep, play with me, we're good.
Yo, that's what a man needs. Like, that's what men
Simple.
say. Like, that's
I
it.
love my food. Like, literally, that's like, that is it.
Okay. I know you're like that. Do you think most women are like that though? Do you think most women
feel
out
like
here
a
just
lot
like
of women are like that.
Really?
Yeah, they may not say it, but I feel like even if you see things on like women love to eat, like you see women are cranky until you give them food, then we're happy. Like until they get other stuff, they're happy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think we're similar in that sense. Like, it doesn't take much.
Okay.
Maybe not majority, but I think a lot of women are like that. Like, well, those 3 things anyway.
Do you think it's easier to make women happy in relationships or men?
Depends on the person.
Okay. Maybe I'm biased.
Well, this is the thing. You're a guy. I guess you would never see a woman's perspective. I don't really know. What else is there to know about women?
Because the term, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
So it's like the focus is on making her happy because it's harder to please her.
Okay, I'll accept that. But I also feel... Let me think. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of right. But then, yeah, to be fair, maybe we are in that sense.
And there's nothing wrong with that because like, if a man wants her, then he wants to contribute to her happiness.
So what would you say we need to know about men?
3 things. Well, one, that we're simple. Literally, those 3 things. Feed us.
Yeah.
Feed us, good physical intimacy,
Yeah.
and peace. Honestly, that's it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
This word peace.
It's like... time for men, how men treat their time with women is how women treat their kitty cat.
Okay, you're going to have to break that one down for me.
If you're seeing a guy, you want to share it with him, but he's not entitled to it.
Right.
Right? He doesn't get it whenever he wants.
Of course.
Exact same thing with a guy in his time. If he's seeing you,
Yeah.
he wants to share it with you,
Yeah.
but he has to willingly share it. It's not like, oh, well, because we're together, I'm entitled to your time.
Yeah.
You're not. Sometimes a guy just wants to be
Left
alone. It's honestly very true. And I think sometimes I understand. I think sometimes women can take that as a rejection. Because it's like, I want to spend time with you. Why don't you want to spend time with me? And for him, it's like, it's not that I don't want to. Maybe I just want to do it later. Maybe I want to just have me time right now.
Yeah.
Same thing as like, if a guy wants to have sex with you and you're like, oh, I'm not in the mood. He's like, why are you rejecting me? Like, are we not together?
Okay.
And
so
you're
you
like,
would say time is the same in that sense then?
100%. Time is the same. You had an issue with the word peace. What were you going to say?
Because a lot of my guy friends, they're like, every man just wants a woman that brings him peace.
Why do you think they're saying that?
I want to know what they mean by brings peace.
Someone
who's not going to nag you when you get in from work, or someone who's not going to get onto you about doing certain things, or...
I think... Shall I tell you what I think it is? And I got this from my grandma. Choose your battles. Not everything has to be fought over.
That's simple, yeah.
Like, there may have been something that he did, little thing. If it's not important, let it go. If it's important for you, say something. But if it's not...
What makes me laugh about that is guys are always just like women this and women that. But I feel like a lot of the time it's always simple things that can be fixed that guys choose to not fix. So then the woman keeps going over the same thing. So it seems like she's nagging. Like, I have female friends that are like in long-term relationships, for example, like Little things like maybe just putting the dish in the sink when you're done with it, or not leaving things on the side, or if it's something that's reoccurring all the time and it's such a little thing, then of course you're not going to have peace when you come home, because if she's had to repeat herself 100 times and you're still not doing anything, that could just solve all the problems. You actually doing what you've been asked to a million times.
So I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Here's the issue with that environment. She feels like she's mothering him because she feels like she's telling him what to do. So she's like, why am I babying this guy? And he's like, why is she nagging me? So here's what, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Like putting his dish in the sink.
Yeah.
Right? If that is a major issue of your relationship, sit down, have a conversation. If it's not, then let it go. So he doesn't put his dishes in the sink. Why is that a big thing? Because I'll be honest, guys let a lot of things go for the sake of peace within a relationship. Because he just wants her to be happy. He cares about her. So it's like, I'm not the biggest fan of this, but it's cool. Like,
but then does he bring that up with her?
No, he won't. Because he chooses his battles.
Oh my God. But then it's going to be like, it will come out at some point, surely.
If it does come out at some point, then he didn't really let it go. He just held it in. That's wrong.
Yeah. Right?
It's not a game. I'm not storing ammo up for our argument in 2 weeks' time. Right? But like, you know, like and guys will never say this, but a big thing is like guys in relationships, a lot of men don't feel comfortable with her going out with her girls to clubs. They don't like it. It's the truth. But they let it go.
Do you think, but why not in the sense of like, so if a guy's going out with his guy friends, so why would it be a problem the other way around?
Okay, let me give you this alternate universe. Imagine your guy's going out with his guy friends. Yeah. And he's going to a club. Right? And this isn't how it works, but they say for the sake of this universe, it does. Okay. You know he's going to be in an environment where there are going to be plenty of other women there. Some women are going to be more attractive than you. They're all going to be sexually pursuing him. They're going to be buying him drinks, trying to get him tipsy, have fun with him. Right? Some of them will be more attractive than you. Some of them will be more successful than you. There may be a few who are maybe more compatible for a relationship than you are for him. Right? And you know that they are all willing to take him home and sleep with him that night. Would you be comfortable with him going out?
But then that's you and your insecurities to deal with.
I'm just asking, would you be comfortable with him going out?
You probably wouldn't be comfortable with it, but I'd be like, that's life. Like, if someone's going to do something, they're going to do something. Like, could not stop someone from living their life just because of other people. Like,
I'm not, but all I'm asking is, would you be comfortable with it? That's why.
You wouldn't.
Because in the universe we live in, that's exactly how it is, but it's other men. You're going to be around other men that may be more attractive, more successful, maybe more compatible. I'm not saying that a guy should not let a girl go. Yeah. But like I said, that's one of the things that a guy does. A lot of guys do let go. Girls will go out on the girl nights, everything. Guys aren't too happy about it, but they go,
do your thing.
They're like, they choose their battles. It's not significant enough to end the relationship. Yeah. So they're like, you know what? This is something that I'm willing to accept for the sake of the relationship.
Different though. That's not really the same kind of level.
I think going out is higher stakes than putting dishes in the sink.
Okay, but
if he can let that go, I think you should be able to let that go.
But then it's also different in the sense of, though, everyone should still have their own lives. Like,
I agree.
You two are just you two all the time, 24/7, like, that is not healthy either. So
no, but it's different going out. I'm talking about like going out to a club where you're going to be drinking and dancing around other people, right? Like, you could you could go and hang out with your friends, like, oh, you're all going to Go Ape or yoga class, or you're going having a brunch. It's different. But in an environment which is stereotypically known
out in the jungle,
out here in these streets, boy,
out here in these streets.
And like I said, there's like, I agree. Like, I don't have an issue with that, you know. A lot of guys are willing to tolerate it, but they don't like it. That's something they let go. So I think that's where sometimes some conflict can happen, because he's like, imagine that, it's like, he's like, in his head, he's like, well, you go out with your girlfriends all the time, surround yourself with drinks, alcohol, situations that I wouldn't really be happy with, but I let you do that for the sake of our relationship. So what if I don't put dishes in the sink? Why is that an issue?
Because you dirting up this motherfucking house. That's why.
That's it. And like I said, if it's a significant issue for your relationship, then sit down and be like, babe, I know I keep bringing this up, but it's really important for me.
Yeah.
For our relationship.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's just a little thing, choose your battles.
Yeah. No, I agree with choose your battles. Not everything is a problem or has to be a problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Depends on what it is.
Listen, you've been awesome. Is there any one last thing you'd like to chat about before I let you go?
You didn't say about your thing if numbers are important to you.
Body count?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm quite liberal on that number.
So what would be too much for you?
Triple figures is too much.
Ooh, yeah.
Anything personally for me, it's got to be what my number or below.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Would you say, but even if, say you two are not the same age, or maybe she started like later than you or earlier, whatever, like, does that all make a difference as well, depending on when someone lost their virginity or the age or whatever? Because the older someone is, well, no, actually, it's not more likely they'll have, depends on the person.
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
So if, for example, okay, I'm not saying this is my number. But let's say, for example, let's say 50 is the number, right?
Okay.
You're right. The older someone is, the more likely sexual partners. But also, if they've had more sexual partners, it probably means they've been in less long-term relationships.
I disagree.
No?
Oh, no, if they've had more sexual partners.
So what I mean is,
yeah,
if somebody is 30 years old and they've been with 50 people, right? I would think, okay, you probably, it's unlikely that you were in a relationship for 8 years.
100%.
And then for 2 years, you're just having 2 different guys every week.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So I'd be like, okay, if it's that many, then I'm like, how are you with relationships?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not the best. Maybe you're not compatible for me for a relationship.
Yeah.
If it's like, if she's young and there's that many, I'll be honest.
That's saying something as well.
Look, I wouldn't. 50 is a lot. If she's like 22, nah, I'll give it no. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh God.
And she started having sex when she was 18. Let's even say 16.
Yeah.
For me personally, that's a lot because it means that your relationship to sex, for me, I'd have to know why.
Yeah.
Your relationship to sex for me is not how I see relationship to sex for a relationship. So for example, it's like, okay, if someone was a porn star, I mean, she's okay having sex with guys, you know, that she doesn't really know for money, right? Yeah. Whereas if I'm like, okay, well, I believe you should only be sexually intimate with somebody that you love and you care about, we have different values, so we're not compatible. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Have you ever had that discussion with anyone you've been with, like asked for numbers?
I've never asked. They've asked me, and then I ask in return.
Oh, do you actually answer it if they've asked you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll answer it. Yeah. Yeah, if they ask me, then I'll be like, okay, well, it's.
Yeah.
I won't say specifically, but I'll give a range.
In the region of.
I'll say it's in the region of this. And then, but if they ask me, I'm like, well, you have to tell me yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say. But every guy's different. Some guys don't care. Yeah. But some guys really care.
Really care.
They really do care. They do care. Look, Sammi, it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for coming on. Where can we find you? Where can we find you? I am on Instagram at Sammi Saad Official, SAMMI SAAD. Check her out, guys. Go check out her page. Give her a follow. Give her props for coming on. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for tuning in, guys. And I will see you in the next episode. Pow.